Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Ascension Playground. This is your friend Ursula, and today I am sipping some warm coffee because we have a cool, rainy day in California. Thank goodness. We really could use the water. Well, I'm here because I'm celebrating with you as a thank you for over 501 subscribers. Woohoo! So with energy, um, when we receive, it's so important to allow that energy to cycle. And so by giving back and gratitude for 5 subscribers to receive little minis, this is the way we keep that energy flowing like that figure 8. So it's exciting for me. I'll give some little minis. So here we go. We are going to start with Starseed Megan. While I'm doing this mini, I want to show everybody who may be new as I share my screen. This is how you too can find your own natal galactic astrology chart. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to make myself a little bit. Here you go. So here we are on galacticastrochart.com. This is a free program that was created by Julia Balaz in Ireland and our dear Hector, who offered this calculator as a gift because if you're like me, doing the math is really challenging, and I probably would just never get around to it. Okay, but in this case, using the calculator, you can get a clear sense of the coordinates of your aspects. So what you do is you put your birth information here, and then you can start typing in your birth city. Okay, the time is real key. So in this case, for our wonderful subscriber, Starseed Megan, let's see, Hazelhurst. Hadn't heard of Hazelhurst, Mississippi. Here we are. So after the date, the time, and the location is placed in, you hit the word calculate, and you're then given all this wonderful planetary information. So you scroll and copy. I'm going to hit Control C to copy, and you come over into this bar and you hit Control V and you paste it. Okay, so I've pasted in this information here. The next step is to hit Import Natal Chart Data. All right, by doing that, then I scroll down. Let me open this up a little bit more. Okay, let's first hit Generate Basic Report, and let's see what happens. Now, if you get to this screen, you say, what happened? You just have to keep scrolling down, and you get this very basic report. What this does in the basic is it identifies the strongest soul connection on your soul's journey in this system. So, dear Starseed Megan, we can clearly see that Andromeda, Lyra, Hyades, Taurus, Scorpius, Centaurus, Auriga, Ursa Minor, the Galactic Center. I mean, these are strong soul connections. In astrology, what these connections are showing us is the conjunctions and the oppositions. Now, between the two, conjunctions are showing us merged energy, and that would definitely indicate a 99.9% chance that that is where you have had a lifetime in that system. So we look here at the sun in Scorpio having a soul connection to Andromeda, and we come down here and we see Pluto in Scorpio as well having a connection to Andromeda. So we could say, just looking at that, that there's a strong likelihood that the soul's origin is from Andromeda, and your most recent lifetime, you went back to Andromeda recently before this Earth incarnation. Now, for those of you who are advanced on the journey, you know that instead of speaking linearly, I went here to here to here, you could say, I am holding this energy holographically. And basically, the past is the present, the future is the present. It's this merging of coming off the timeline. So I'm sharing that because I know Starseed Megan is quite advanced. Okay, so the next step, say I wanted to know specifically which fixed stars are making a soul connection to my sun in Scorpio. Here's where I go up here. I like to click both of these boxes and hit Generate Extended Report. All right. Now you get to this window, but you have to, again, scroll down. And here's where you're going to see a rainbow of all of her soul connections. Look at those colors. Look, the thing that pops out, of course, is the red from Orion. Look how many trips you've made it to Orion. And also Lepus, the beautiful bunny star, or the constellation known as the rabbit. All right, so we start up here at the sun, the most recent lifetime. There's an opposition of the fixed star Almach to your beautiful sun in Scorpio. What this number here, the 0.16, is saying that the opposition is within a 0-degree, 16-minute orb. That really is a very tight conjunction. So we can definitely say your most recent lifetime before this incarnation as Starseed Megan is right here in Andromeda. Isn't that fun? So then we start looking, where else have you been to Andromeda? Well, we're looking and we come back down here to Pluto, but we see there was another connection to the beautiful star or the planet Lilith. I should say dwarf. Or is she an asteroid? I'm going to have to go remind myself. Okay, but for origin, where did you begin when your soul entered into this system? We could say you came from Andromeda, yes, but not on Almach, but on a star called Titowin. So we say Titowin is held in opposition to your Pluto by a mere 0 degrees, 47 minutes. Think how far Pluto is out there from Earth, right? It's so far we don't really see it with our naked eye. So to have a 47-minute opposition to your Pluto with Titowin is very, very tight, very strong. Since I'm sitting here and I'm doing a little mini, I'm just going to go down here to the Andromeda Vertex M31, pointing to the Andromeda Galaxy. It is sextiling her Lilith in Gemini 28 degrees in her first house of self. Oh my goodness. And the sextile is within 0.30 minutes to Lilith. What does this tell me? Well, when you study with Julia Balaz, and if you decide to take her practitioner's course, you understand that there are 3 Liliths. There's one that people know as the former wife of Adam, who just said, oh no, I am not going to be told what to do and how to do. So she left Adam and he then married Eve. Sometimes we don't hear that story in our Bible stories when you grow up Catholic, but that was the first Lilith. And then there's another Lilith, and that is the actual physical being or the physical object in space. But the transformed Lilith is the one that Julia says that she's adding into this calculator. And the transformed Lilith is one who understands her feminine power. It's the one that understands, yes, I might have been obnoxious or unruly or, angry at the masculine, but now it's sitting in more of a balanced state. So when we look at what is the Andromeda Galaxy, very different than the constellation, right? So the Andromeda Galaxy sits within the Andromeda constellation. That's the chained princess who's waiting to be devoured by Cetus, the sea monster, who's now today been called the whale. We like whales. We don't like sea monsters. But back in the day, they would call Cetus the sea monster. Okay, so Andromeda Galaxy sextiling Lilith. For me, what's coming in to share in this little mini would be to say, you know, the Andromeda Galaxy brings this idea of constant flow of change. This is a consciousness that says, mm, I'm not learning about duality so much as there's this constant flow. And so things are changing, and I'm sitting well with learning how to navigate in constant change. Now, to sit in Lilith with Gemini at the latter degrees, to me, that says, and in house one, that perhaps Starseed Megan, you might really enjoy feeding and learning about all things around the divine feminine, um, as it relates to this idea of we are in a huge evolutionary change of how do we identify ourselves? How do you identify yourself, Starseed Megan, as it relates to how do you want to show up? Do you want to show up as the Piscean, you know, the man did me wrong? You know, my father, my ex-husband, and, you know, my male boss. That's a choice. But the Andromeda Galaxy is saying, thank you for all these experiences because change is flowing in. It's coming, it's coming. But there's an opportunity here to really reevaluate how to hold the feminine energy, the strong, beautiful Lilith energy. And in some of the early paintings, she was painted as the snake with a feminine head. And she was the one that wrapped herself around the tree of knowledge and actually was the one to say to Eve, why don't you take a bite of the apple? So that creation story, that myth is up in 2022 to be reevaluated. Instead of being the metaphor of the evil feminine, perhaps in 2022, it's being looked at as without the apple and the awareness of consciousness of the game of duality, of the dark and the light, we would not have agreed to expand and come into various dimensions to again consciously expand and to know ourselves. So see house one, know yourself. So I would say Starseed Megan with Lilith sextiling the Andromeda Galaxy in house one of Gemini. You are here to share many different aspects, a lot of different modalities for how to hold the divine feminine as she sits well with herself. It all begins with sitting well with yourself, house one, right? So Lilith redefined. I wonder if that's something you already focus on in the good work that you do in the community. Um, let's see, is there one more thing I want to share with you in the mini? How else does the feminine show up? Let's see. With all of this Lyra, sextiling Vega, the Ring Nebula, Sulafat, Vega again. Here's the second gift I want to share with you. As we looked at Andromeda as your origin and most recent lifetime before this Earth incarnation, the story of Lyra. And I'm sure you have Lissa Royal Holt's book, The Prism of Lyra, on your radar screen. But anyone else listening, do take a moment, find this book because it talks about galactic heritage and this evolutionary, the lessons that were learned by each of these star nations. And if you didn't learn it on that lifetime, it travels with you for you to learn again in your subsequent lifetimes. Now, so much of what Debbie Solaris teaches is founded on Lissa Royal Holt's foundational book, The Prism of Lyra. Okay, so I wanted to share one more thing about Vega, the Lyra Vegans. So here we have the constellation Lyra of the lyre. It was one of the first ancient constellations within our evolutionary journey, according to Lissa Royal Holt. But Vega in particular, this is a star of the divine feminine again. The Vega star family, of which I kind of know a little bit more about because I believe my origins are from Vega. This is the inner work, of going within. So if anyone listening, and Starseed Megan, listening to this idea that if you have a strong Vega connection, the beautiful iridescent blue comes in, the divine feminine comes in, and this is all about learning how to go within yourself to find all the answers and to sit well in balance. The Vegan star seeds were the ones that are known for bringing this wisdom of meditation to Earth. It's powerful. And so I'm sensing this very powerful divine feminine energy in your beautiful chart. So let me stop sharing for a moment. Here we go. I'm going to sip my coffee. You know, it's not about the female angry at the male, or the male not sure how to relate with the female. It is the masculine and the feminine energies of which each of us as a soul, based on our many lifetimes, has been challenged to figure out how do you bring them into balance. And so that beautiful yin yang, the beautiful symbol of the yin yang, the half black, half white, but it's moving toward the center point. So we would not expand as souls if we didn't have the equal and opposite feature. Let's say we're very bright light. We need the equal and opposite dark to help us learn and balance. Otherwise, why would we incarnate unless to help us expand? Now, here's the fun thing with free will. Sure, there's some things that are set up and we agree to certain soul groups, certain people working with us to help us expand. But there's also this idea, of without the challenge, without the friction, how would the sand in the oyster become a pearl? How would we grow in our own consciousness if everything was hunky-dory? But our free will, this is where it comes in. You have the choice, dear ones, to just say, okay, I signed up for that, but I don't have to do it. You don't have to do anything. That is the biggest permission that I could give you, anyone listening. You don't have to do anything unless you choose it. So it's your choice whether you choose to continue on your journey, continue to expand, to find a way to hold light and dark, male and female energy within you. Okay, let's get a little bit deep for a rainy day in California. Thank you for letting me offer this free little mini back energetically to beautiful Starseed Megan. And Megan, thank you so much for the shout out to support the playground. Really appreciated your support, and may your path be blessed with additional light going forward. Okay, see everybody next time on the Ascension Playground. Bye for now.